Hey home bakers, welcome back. It's Jack here at bakewithjack.co.uk, bringing you your weekly bread making tip every single Thursday. And this week I'm going to talk about the miracle, the wonderful deliciousness that is modern bread. And that was sarcasm, by the way. Welcome back everybody. I'm going to go a little bit off piece today, I hope you don't mind, because next week is Real Bread Week, and Real Bread Week is a week to celebrate real bread. It's between February 24th 2018 and March the 4th 2018. A week to celebrate real homemade bread with flour, water, yeast and salt. But I'm not going to talk about that rubbish. Ugh. I'm here to talk about an incredible modern invention. Before we go on, let's talk about the word modern, okay? Everything modern is modern for a bit, and then after a while, it's not modern anymore. It's old hat. It's nonsense. And let me relate it to something in the mainstream media at the moment. Plastic. Wow, modern plastic's amazing. Plastic, you can make anything out of plastic. Washing up bowls, I'm just looking around. Cheap plastic tripods, you can make anything plastic and it will stay plastic forever and it will never decompose, right? What an amazing modern invention that would be. Incredible. And then when we're done with it, we can just bury it in a hole in the ground. That would be alright, wouldn't it? No. Now, I'm not here to rant about plastic, but it is a crackers thing, right? And let's be honest. But it's just an example of what was modern once that's not quite modern anymore, and eventually it stitches up the human race in one way or another. Here comes the relevant stuff. Now, some point in the 1960s, hold on a minute. 1961, somebody invented an incredible invention called modern bread. Now, modern bread is effectively what bread used to be, but cheapened. Somebody takes something that's really, really nice and really, really wholesome and really good for you, and they cheapen it up. And cheapening stuff up, by the way, always leads to disappointment. So this is what happens. It gets cheapened up in 1961, and now we're in 2018, which is approximately 60 years later, 57 years later. I've got an example of this modern invention with me today. And please don't take any offence about the nature of the brand that I've chosen, because in my eyes they're all crap. Here's one that I bought at the shop today. It's called Soft White Medium. Now let me tell you what I'm not here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about all the dodgy ingredients that you read on the back of the packet, because I'm no expert in all of that stuff. If you want to find out about that, read on the back of the packet, have a little Google, see what you come up with, see what it's all about. I have no idea. All I know is that half of that stuff is not in a bread that you make at home. And I'm also not here to talk to you about the process in which they create a loaf of bread like that, because I don't know what that is, and I'm not an expert in that either. If you want to know about that, Google the Chorley wood bread making process and enjoy yourself. I'm here to talk about the product, because it's crap. Sorry. Bread is a wonderful thing, right? Wonderful. If someone creates a modern invention that's miles away from what it is, I wouldn't even consider it bread. You know what, let me take it back to the sponge theory, right? If someone made me a sponge, and I'm talking about like a washing up sponge, in 1961 and said, hey, I can sell you this sponge for half of the price of that loaf of bread, and you can put butter on it and make it into a sandwich. And I ate the sandwich and I'd be like, wow, this sponge is horrible. And you say, it's okay, it's all right, it's cool. We got loads of it, it's well cheap, and it's wonderful. And you know what the best thing is? Sponges stay spongy for a long time. So you can have a crap sandwich every day of the week for 14 days and it will taste exactly like what it was 14 days ago. How's that? I'd probably say to you, hey, you know what? No, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit irritating to me. Don't sell me a sponge and tell me it's a loaf of bread, please. That's not acceptable, because it is miles away from a loaf of bread. When you cheapen the bread making process and take time out and replace it with other bits and bobs, you get bread that looks like this. And if I made this bread at home, I would be a little bit disappointed. If my loaf came out like that, I'd be like, oh no, I fluffed that one up, never mind, throw it away, start again. Because it's underproofed and underbaked, and the reason I'm holding it this way is if I hold it this way, this would happen. Seriously. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You take a slice like this and eat it, this is what happens, ready? This is what happens inside your tummy. This. That. Can you see that? That's dough now. I can keep going for ages on this and it will just turn into basically whatever Play-Doh is, yeah, but less salty and without the colour. Now you're telling me that this is not going to cause you an issue inside of your tummy? Seriously? I feel like this is the issue. The structure of the bread alone is enough to upset your tummy, in my opinion. It's like, regardless of the dodgy ingredients, regardless of whatever they put in there in the process, the product is going to upset your tum, right? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. It's not bread, and it certainly isn't bread yet. It's somewhere between dough and bread, and you don't eat dough, so where do you draw the line before you eat bread? It's weird, it's not natural, it's very odd, and it's certainly not modern anymore. Modern bread now should be the bread from the olden days now. That's what modern bread should be. This weird stuff has got to go. It's Real Bread Week next week. Celebrate Real Bread Week. If you've never made bread before and you want to make a loaf of bread, head to my website for 2 reasons. 1, get yourself a bread recipe and give it a go at the weekend and make a wicked loaf of bread. And 2, you can come and join me on a course in a workshop in Woking in Surrey in the UK, if that's where you are, or I can come to your house and we can sort it out. That would be awesome.